Yo, welcome to the show, everybody. It's me, Ben, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're continuing our little spree of end of the year lists, favorites list. Remember, this isn't a ranking, we're just listing 10 of my favorite albums, in this case of the year, because today's video is entitled, let me scroll to it, 10 K-pop albums from 2020 that made me squeal. And obviously if you're a patron and got to, watch me react to these, you'll know I was squealing. But welcome back, y'all. Excited to hop into this one as per usual. Be sure to leave me a comment below. Let me know if you like my list. If you don't like it, remember to be civil, of course. This is a discussion. This isn't supposed to spark debate. It's just supposed to be fun. I felt like doing it. Last couple of videos have gone really well over with everyone, so I'm glad y'all are enjoying the videos. But welcome back. We're going to do it today. Leave me a comment, of course, and let me know what 10 K-pop albums from 2020 made you squeal. Get in the comments and let me know. But we'll go ahead and start it off strong. The first one that I need to talk about, and I do believe these are in order of release, at least in some cases. So I guess we do have an order, but like I said, we're not listing like top to bottom, like number 1 to number 10, whatever. First one I need to talk about is Pentagon, Universe the Black Hole. Now, if you really want to get me on my soapbox, we can talk about the promotional period for this album and how it wasn't what we were hoping, but the album itself is phenomenal. The B-sides are incredible, obviously, with a title track like Dr. Bebe as the main title. Easily just one of my favorite albums ever released as far as K-pop goes. And here's the thing. Here is the thing. For those of y'all that know me, you'll know that I normally add songs to playlists after I listen to the albums all the way through. When an album drops, I listen to it all the way through. I take the songs that I like and I put them on playlists. But every so often, especially with Universe the Black Hole, I found that I will actually just go to Pentagon's Spotify page and I'll just press play on the album and listen to it from top to bottom because I pretty much have all the B-sides on my playlist anyway. So I don't normally do that, but especially for an album like this, all the songs are so incredible, I can literally just press play at the beginning and go all the way through. Alrighty, another album that I definitely had to put on my list is Dreamcatcher's Dystopia, The Tree of Language. Now, Dreamcatcher actually dropped 2 albums this year, but I did prefer this one at least a little bit, and I decided to put this one on there because I've been listening to it nonstop all year. I think on the first list that we did, I actually mentioned Dreamcatcher. Yes, I believe I did. And let's be real, man. Dystopia Tree of Language is an album that I do the exact same thing with that I was just talking about with Pentagon's Universe the Black Hole. I basically just press play at the beginning and I go all the way through. No skips at all. If I could speak, it would be a little bit more compelling, right? But for real, no skips on either of those albums. Up next, and this should not be a surprise to any of you with the amount that I talk about it, at least on YouTube and on Twitch and Twitter, is BTS Map of the Soul 7. Tons and tons of phenomenal songs on this one, and actually introduced me to some of my absolute favorite BTS songs of all time. Now, once again, this is where all of the really hardcore army get in the comments and say, okay, Ben, but you haven't reacted to this album yet, which is true, and I will get to those eventually. But a lot of those songs on Map of the Soul 7 really dropped at a time where I needed to hear the messages that were involved in the songs. One in particular would be My Time by Jungkook, which is already one of my absolute favorite solo tracks from any BTS member ever, right up there with Soul by RM, I was gonna say Mama by Hobie, songs like that. But yes, Map of the Soul 7, absolutely, without a doubt, one of my absolute favorite albums of the year, and also one of my most listened to overall albums of the entire year. Up next, and I will go ahead and say that this is actually one of my favorites off the top of this list. So even of these 10 albums, this is absolutely one of my favorites of the 10, and that is NCT 127's Neo Zone. Phenomenal work on this album to all of the NCT 127 boys. I thought it was epic. One of my absolute favorite songs being Not Alone. Definitely got to mention that one. I remember basically crying to that song the first time I listened to it. And ever since, sometimes when I need a good cry, I'll just blast it in my car and just sit in the parking lot. Because sometimes that's all you need, But this is easily one of my favorite albums of the entire year, and easily one of my favorite K-pop albums I've ever heard, having now been a fan of the genre for a little over 2 years now. Up next, another one that shouldn't really surprise any of y'all, Day 6, The Book of Us, The Demon. Obviously some phenomenal songs on this one, but particularly with Zombie. Zombie and obviously the rest of the songs on this album really came at a perfect time for me because I was really struggling when they had decided to drop the album, and I found a lot of peace in listening to the music on on the album. I've been trying to like get variety in the way that I say things, but it's kind of just the same. I'm just listing these at this point. But Day 6's The Book of Us, the Demon is easily one of my favorites this year and definitely had to be on my top 10 list. One, because of how much I've listened to it, but also mainly because of how it affected me emotionally in such a positive way. You already know how it is. I had to go with some Twice on here, but this might actually be different from what you expect. The Twice album that I picked to be on my top 10 list from this year is actually More and More, which you're probably going to say, but Ben, that wasn't even a full album. Why would you pick More and More over? Well, the point is, overall, the B-sides I found on More and More, I actually preferred even more, and that's obviously not a diss at other Twice albums, but as far as the album that really affected me in a very positive way, I would say Twice's More and More had to be on my top 10 list. Once again, just because of how many times I've listened to it all the way through. I really love that album. More and More as the title track is phenomenal. I love that music video too, one of my favorites this whole year. And yeah, anytime I can hype the Twice girls up, you already know I'm gonna do it. My next addition, also a member of the JYP family, has to go to Stray Kids Go Live. You already know how it is. I actually had the chance to see Stray Kids very early this year before all of this kicked off. And that was easily one of my favorite nights of the entire year for more reasons than one. But goodness gracious, the Stray Kids boys have absolutely killed it again this entire year, giving us some phenomenal music, and all of the songs on Go Live I think ended up on playlists other than like 2 of them. And even still, like I said, with albums like Universe the Black Hole, Dystopia the Tree of Language, Map of the Soul 7, this is one of those albums that I basically will just click play on the beginning of on Stray Kids' Spotify profile, and I'll just listen. I'll just listen to it all the way through. Another one, and this is awesome. I'm really glad I decided to put this one on my list because these boys do not get enough attention at all, is a.c.e, HJZM, The Butterfly Fantasy. I still don't really understand what that means, the HJZM bit. But this was actually a mini album. This wasn't a full album or anything. Like a lot of these on this list are considered full albums thus far. But this is a little mini album EP style thing from a.c.e. And this is again similar to the situation with Day 6's The Book of Us, the Demon. This was dropped at a time where I really needed to hear the music that a.c.e was putting on the album. And it really felt like, not just like a warm hug, it felt like a pat on the back. It felt like, you know, a friendly, word from a friend. It was perfect. And I didn't realize going into that album review that I was gonna love it as much as I did. Anytime the a.c.e boys drop something, it's very exciting and I love them very much, but I didn't realize just how emotional it was going to be to me. So absolutely, absolutely, absolutely had to end up on my top 10 albums of the year. On to my next one, got to represent the Luna Girls, Midnight. That album was phenomenal. That is also on my list for show. The Luna Girls, similar to Dreamcatcher in my eyes, nailed it this year. And by nailed it, I mean not just in like a musical sense, but in a promotional sense, in a group sort of evolution sense. And Midnight is one of those albums that was just perfect. It was perfect in every possible way. There were tons of different vibes on the album, within the album, and they did a really good job of bringing it all together to be cohesive, and absolutely has to be one of my albums of the year as well. And then on to my last one. You already know, again, this might surprise some of you, but it really shouldn't at the end of the day. It is a soloist album, but it's absolutely one of my favorites and already most listened to, despite the fact that it's still relatively new, and that is Taemin's Never Going to Dance Again. Never Gonna Dance Again is the point. Specifically Act 1 here, but I think we're technically supposed to list them, both acts, as part of the same thing. So I have to put that one on here because once again, similar to some of these other albums that I've been saying, a lot of songs on both Act 1 but Act 2 really hit me in a major way. I'm specifically thinking of Strangers, but goodness gracious, man, this album came out at the perfect time for me when I needed some inspiration. Taemin said, take that. How's that for some inspiration? And I was like, thank you, sir. I'll have another. And then he gave me another. He gave me Act 2. But yeah, that's actually it for my list, ladies and gents. Thank you all for watching. Leave me some comments and let me know. What 10 K-pop albums of 2020 made you squeal? Are some of mine that I've already listed on your list as well? I'd imagine at least for a few of you, that'll be the case. Now, I would be very curious to see if any of you have the exact same list as me. I kind of doubt it, but we'll see. We shall see. But that's it for me today. Thank y'all so much for watching the video. I appreciate y'all very, very much. I'll be back at it again tomorrow, of course, with my 4th list out of 5. So we're gonna do 5 videos if I hadn't already mentioned that. And once again, I'm not gonna spoil what that'll be tomorrow. You'll just have to come through and show up and show out So in the meantime, leave me a comment, let me know about your list. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I said, I've said this in the other 2 videos, I think, so far, but this year was pretty garbage for a lot of us. This year for me was really rough. But at the end of the day, it's been bearable because the music that's been released has been phenomenal. But yes, without further ado, that's it for me. Thank you for watching. I'll catch y'all back here, same time, same place tomorrow for another list. Till next time, love y'all very much, and peace. Bye.